Hey Sammie, how's it going?
Hiya.
Good to have you back involved. It didn't quite work out for you the last couple of times you were in the squad. Is there a different feeling about it this time?
Yeah, obviously, last two squads I've been in, unfortunately, first one injured, second one I had to go home for a personal reason. But all's good now. Obviously, got the phone call from John, and it was a no-brainer for me. Like I said, I was so excited to get into camp, and we've had a good couple of days training, and I'm looking forward to the game at the weekend.
Your form this season has been brilliant. Is there anything you can put that down to?
Not really. I'm just playing with a different confidence. At Blackburn, we lost a lot of senior boys, so felt like I had to step up on the leadership side of things, and maybe maturing off the pitch has sort of brought my form to where it is on it.
John O'Shea was chatting last week praising your versatility. Is that something that you feel can stand in your stead? You can slot into any squad and do a job?
Yeah, my form speaks for itself at the minute, and like you said, I can play up front, I can play in the 10, I can play in the wide areas. So for me, it's good because you can play a number of positions.
Sammie? Hi Sammie, how are you?
Hi, yeah, not too bad, thanks.
Can you tell me how to pronounce Szmodics?
Yeah, so the Z's basically silent, so it's Szmodics. Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Are you looking forward to making your debut?
Yeah, it's felt like a long time coming. I think it was a couple of years ago the first call up, and I wanted it back then. So with the form and the amount of games I've played and seeing people get their debuts, it sort of made me hungry for it, and I'm excited to hopefully get it the weekend.
What about the links to Hungary? Were they live? Were they real at any point?
No, it's all, like I've said before, it was all nonsense really. Obviously Granddad was Hungarian, and obviously where the surname comes from, and it's just something that's never interested me. And obviously their manager's come out and said what he's got to say about me. I'm not really sure where it's come from because I've never had any involvement or spoken to anyone from their country. So I'm fully focused on Ireland and playing for them.
Ironically, you could end up playing against them in a couple of months.
Yeah, that will be a strange feeling. Yeah, so hopefully just get this camp ticked off, get the games under my belt, and hopefully look forward to that one.
And John went to see you play. I think it was the Millwall game. You were on the score sheet that night.
Yeah.
I think Michael Obafemi might have scored that night as well. So when you look at your competition for places in the Irish team at the moment, and you look at someone like Evan Ferguson, for example, are you confidently expecting to get a game, get a start?
No, listen, it's obviously up to John and the staff. I've done all I can at club level. Obviously, like you mentioned, some great names and some great lads in forms and scoring goals. But like I've always said, I feel like I can come in and do a job and and help Ireland. And there's some good names in. It's good to have competition, so no one's comfortable. Everyone's always setting their standards high, and we're competing basically for them three front spots. And hopefully I've done enough, and I can prove in training that if I don't get a start, I get a good chunk of minutes.
Ashley?
Hi, Sammie. Ashley
Hiya.
here from Off the Ball. So we just spoke about being eligible for Hungary as well. Was it ever a hard decision to decide?
No, it wasn't even really a decision for me. It all came out of nowhere really, which I was quite surprised about. He said I used that as as a ploy to get into this squad, which, like I said, it's not what happened at all. It's nothing I've ever heard of. I've never spoken to anyone from there, and I sort of wanted to do the interview just to squash it. For, like I said, people read things on Twitter, and it's nothing. Like I said, it wasn't even a decision. It's nothing that's even entered my brain. I've sorted my passport for Ireland years ago, and I've been fully focused on getting into the camps and getting into the squads, and hopefully and luckily I've done it this weekend.
That must be very frustrating for somebody to say you said things that...
It is, yeah, it is frustrating because he doesn't know me. He doesn't know, them things to say about me, and especially after not even speaking to anyone, it just came out the blue. But like I said, I'm fully focused on Ireland, and that's background noise. People can write things on Twitter and say things on Twitter, but until you hear it from myself, that's all nonsense.
And in great form at the minute. What do you put it down to be so consistent? I know a lot of things maybe off the pitch have to line right as well.
Yeah, I think just the confidence in front of goal. In the championship's a tough league, and you're chasing. You got your first goal, and I got that on the second game of the season, and they've all just followed through, and I just feel like if I get a chance now, I'm not going to miss, and it's a great place to be in.
Gavin?
Yeah, hi Sammie. We know you left the camp in October because of personal reasons. Were you disappointed not to get called in November? Told personal reasons, but that interview you gave
Yeah, I was disappointed because the personal reason was obviously only over that October camp. It was something, you know, family comes first. I'm not going to sit here and speak about the issue, but I had to go home. I had to get back. And obviously, you read Twitters and, you know, people question if I actually wanted to play for Ireland, which again is just ridiculous because it's something I've wanted to do since I was 23, 24 when I got my passport. That October camp, I had to get back for my family. And then, listen, disappointed with the November camp that I didn't get the call, but ultimately it was the manager's decision. I thought I was doing enough at club level, and he chose to go with other people. But like I've said before, the past. I've got to focus on this camp and future camps, and I'm here now, and I've got to take the opportunity with both hands.
Yeah, I know you mentioned your versatility there. If you could pick one position in this Irish team, which you think you do best?
It'd be the 10, yeah, the attacking midfield role, because I like going forward, but I don't mind, you know, sticking my foot in and getting back in and doing the defensive side of things as well.
Ed?
Sammie, how are you doing? Can I take you back to your first team debut at Colchester? For someone born and bred in Colchester to go and play for his boyhood club, must rank still, I imagine, one of your most important football memories. And just also add what it would mean then to make an international debut, how it would compare to something like that?
Yeah, so to this day, it's still obviously family, friends, all Colchester United fans. So to make my debut there and play 100 games is, you know, is probably the best thing to happen in my career. You know, I've scored some important goals in my career, but that's definitely my favourite and my most important thing that's happened. And you know, ultimately the international debut will top that. You know, for me personally, it'll be amazing. But like I've mentioned before, for my dad and you know my family that are from Ireland, it'd be a massive thing for them.
And just sticking with the Colchester theme, I believe Dermot O'Leary has the right to claim himself as the most famous Irish man from Colchester. I think if you score a few goals in the green shirt, you might grab that claim for yourself.
Hopefully, you know, like goals would be a bonus. It'd be amazing to, you know, to get a minute for Ireland, so let alone a goal. So I've just got to completely focus on, you know, getting on the pitch and doing my job, and you know, hopefully the rest of it comes with it.
That's good.
Aidan?
Hey Sammie, just on the Irish link, just remind us of the grandparent link and also your awareness of that early on, and were you scouted by the FAI at any stage as a teenager?
Yeah, so Nan was County Longford. Didn't know much about it. Didn't meet my nan. So it's tough coming through because you don't really know. You know, if no one's told you about the links, obviously I knew she was Irish, but you don't know how sort of down the line it is and how it sort of works. And it was only when I signed with the new agents that we looked down that route and we contacted them. And you know, it took a while. It took 2-3 years to really sort the passport out, to find all the birth and death certificates and sort everything out. And you know, luckily that's all in the past now. Everything's sorted. I've got my Irish passport. Obviously leaving camps and not being called up to camps, and like I said, I'm just fully focused now on this camp and beyond.
And just on the stage you're at in your career, I mean, some players, Rob Keane, debut at 17, some players come in straight away. We have a tradition also in Ireland of late developers, Eddie Townsend, John Aldridge, well into their 20s when they come in. Is that something you're aware of? I mean, you know, Keith Andrews obviously a player with Blackburn, making 28, making his debut. Is that something you've read up on or been aware of, that you could be one of those developers?
Listen, I was excited 3-4 years ago to make my debut. 24, 28 now. I still feel like I'm quite young. And you know, whatever age you make your debut, it's a very proud moment. You know, if, like you said, if you make it at 17, if you make it at 35, you know, you've still got lads in the squad that are mid-30s still playing. You know, and it doesn't really matter what age you are if you're making your debut. You know, it's a proud moment. And hopefully, you know, making your debut, I can sit here, you know, in years to come and have many more caps for Ireland.
Owen?
Sorry, what was your grandmother's name?
Tony, Annette. Annette. Yeah. Hine. Hyne.
Is that it? Philip?
Sammie, you're very welcome to Ireland. John Eustace is your manager now?
Yeah.
I think you've been changing manager this season.
Yeah.
John was with us for a while. Did you talk to him about the Ireland setup at all? Or?
I didn't know. I spoke to him just before I left Blackburn to come here, and he just obviously just said, "You've been brilliant. Go and make an impact." But I hadn't previously spoken to him. No.
Yeah, he was here with Stevie for a while.
Yeah.
Just briefly about the club situation. You've scored lots of goals.
Yeah.
Blackburn's season hasn't been where you want to be right now, and you've a bit of a battle on your hands. You could get dragged in. Obviously, you don't want it, but just I know this international week. We'll come back to the club. You've a lot of big games coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a mixed season for myself and Blackburn. You know, we've struggled, but on a personal note, you know, to have 27 goals in all comps and 21 in the champ and be at the top at the minute is brilliant for me. But you know, I'd rather change some of them goals for points because, like you said, we've slipped down there. We're only 3 points off it now, and we've got some tough games. We've got Ipswich and Sunderland coming up after the break. So you know, these games are really important. But it's quite nice to get away from the club level and, you know, hopefully make a debut and just take myself away from that club side of things, because it is tough at the minute, and we know we've got tough games to come. So you know, focus on Ireland, hopefully get some minutes, and then, you know, get back to Blackburn.
Just finally from me, Andy Moran has been with the partner this season. He's with the 21s this week, but he is going to come into the senior squad. A little bit about him. How's he impressed you?
Yeah, really good technical footballer. It was tough at Blackburn because the old manager had a certain style of play that I had to get used to, and a young lad like Andy coming from Brighton, he had to do the same, and he struggled a little bit under the new manager, but you forget how young he is and how much of a big talent he's going to be. You know, I'll tip him to play in the Premier League and make many more, because he's made his debut for Ireland. I'll tip him to make many more caps.
Finally, Ken.
So interesting that you, for example, watched the Ireland games from the last campaign.
Yeah, I've watched them. Obviously, the ones I've been involved in the camps. Obviously, with the tactical side of things, I've watched them games, and obviously the November camp and camps I've missed before, I've watched. Obviously, I know the boys from club level and obviously from this level. So yeah, I do tune in and watch them.
We have obviously had a real struggle to, you know, get any positive results at all. I mean, have you got any thoughts on what's been going wrong for us?
I think it's just, you know, we need to score more goals and create more chances, and hopefully I can help with that. I'm doing it at club level. You know, there's a lot of good players in that change room, and you know, people that miss out from the squad, a lot of good technical players, and I think we just need more of an attacking threat. And you can see in the last 2 days of training that we've got real clinical, you know, attacking presence up front. And like the question earlier, you know, we've got a lot of competition for places. So I think, you know, we just need that freedom and that goal scoring, and you know, we'll keep achieving what we can.